What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Games, Comics, and Culture Comic Book Club. This is a full spoilers discussion. This show will be focusing on the Extraordinary X-Men. Current and last issue was number 20. We're going to also dive kind of deep into the Inhumans versus X-Men crossover and, basically full spoilers on X-Men comics up to this issue.
Yeah.
I'm Nate.
Corey.
How we doing?
Not bad.
Yeah, so just to kind of tee up this video, if people haven't watched our stuff before, you are definitely more well versed on recent Marvel comics than I am. I was into it as a younger person, got back into it nowadays, but to me, I'm kind of the whole Marvel process, the Marvel setup, all that stuff. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around a little bit. All right, so that being said, what are your thoughts?
Um, I, well, I was liking it all the way through. Kind of up and I don't know. I thought it was kind of a lame ending, to be honest.
You're talking about the Inhumans.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah. I didn't read issue 20 yet.
Okay.
So you said you'd
And
fill me in if there's anything.
so issue 20 is just a wrap up. It's send all the mutants home from everybody who was hanging out in limbo, and then they all decided to play a game of baseball.
Nice.
Logan and Ro have a conversation about, are we splitting up the team? And they're like, oh yeah, I don't know. I don't want to think about all this stuff right now.
Okay.
And then they jammed out, and yeah, so that's the end of the extraordinary X-Men.
So that's where Gold and Blue start.
Correct. Gold, Blue, and there's like a third title that I forget what it's called.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So yes, I guess we're mainly talking about the Inhumans crossover then. Although I would have liked to see the baseball game. I'll check it out before
Right.
next week. Anybody get any homers?
No. Logan accused somebody of using powers on the pitch, and Nightcrawler was the catcher and called him an old man.
Nice.
Yeah, right.
He is an old man.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I thought the whole crossover thing was cool. I just thought it was kind of a lame ending how when they finally told Medusa what was going on, she was like, oh, okay, well, we'll leave then.
Yeah. Why didn't they just ask?
Yeah, seriously. It's like, okay. So we just did all of that, basically went to war with them and everything, and then she was like, oh, if this is gonna kill all the mutants, then we'll dip out. And then
well, so I think the part of that you're missing, though, is that it seemed like Crystal set it all up. That this is the end of the story that even goes back to Death of X, where apparently the last few days of Cyclops
Crystal,
was
you mean Emma Frost?
Frost, yes. Right.
Yeah. Crystal's
So, yes. But, so it goes all the way back to the Death of X stuff, which was never explained in these X-Men books, period. And, that she was basically toying with everybody to start a war because she was pissed at Medusa for, calling the shot to kill Scott.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that part of it was cool. That was kind of this in the area where I wasn't really reading too much, so I didn't really know what happened there.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, she did set it all up, obviously, and even though she did, still Storm took her side and Magneto took her side and wanted to go to war.
Right.
They didn't know that she set it up, but they just thought it was a just war, a good enough reason to attack first. Like her trickery got them,
Sure.
Which was cool. But it's I just thought the conclusion was just kind of lame,
right,
altogether. Yeah.
I guess I'll agree with that point. As we kind of talked about on Comically Gaming, I had never really read a crossover in the current age of Marvel here. They had always pissed me off. I subscribed to a few comics, and I would just keep reading the base one through. I was always pissed when they would have the
Crossover.
events, because then all of a sudden I'm getting a story that's in the middle of that event in my subscription run. So interesting. This was kind of the first one that I committed to because I've always been pissed off about it, and I wanted to at least educate myself on what it's like.
Yeah.
So with this, and you tell me if all the Marvel books are like this, I found if you read the main books, the Inhumans versus X-Men 1 through 6, that's the story. Everything on the side of that doesn't, it happens in the timeline of the story, but it doesn't really affect that story at all. And so to me, like, it almost is stupider because it doesn't really play into the main story, and if you're just trying to read that subscription line, it rips you out of whatever story you're in. Also gives you this little weird side story, like I wasn't impressed with reading the Deadpool books and the Extraordinary X-Men books that were going on during the crossover. Are they all like that?
I think, for the most part, they are. I mean, it's usually, side stories going on within the event, and the event kind of takes over. As long as you read the main books, you do know what's going on.
So, like, for example, like in Civil War, I'm sorry, if you were reading the Iron Man book on the side there, nothing happens in that Iron Man book that's going to directly affect the story of Civil War. That if you missed out, you wouldn't know what was going on anymore.
And if there was something, they would mention it in the main book.
Right.
So it kind of focuses on the main story, and then the other stuff is side stories, which, I mean, I think it's kind of lame. That's why I think, I'm not a huge fan of the crossovers. I mean, I feel like the big summer events, the side stories matter more when like the whole universe is focused on it.
Right.
But these little crossovers like this, I'm not a huge fan. I don't know. It's just, if you're just, especially in our case where we've cut it down to one Marvel book, basically, I want to pick up more, but it basically just kind of takes away from what we were reading, and then we got to focus on this other story for a little bit, and then to get back to where we were. But I mean, like the all new X-Men, I think I read one or two of them. It was just Bobby going in there to get his boyfriend out, and that had nothing to do with the main story. And then I read a couple other ones, and it's
Extraordinary, the Sapna story was the same way. You know what I mean?
Magic, and it's so. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't that impressed with the crossover. At first I thought it was cool, and then I kind of found myself rushing through it to get back to the main storyline of Extraordinary X-Men. So,
right. All right. Well, and I agree. I guess I liked it a little bit more than you. Kind of. It seems like your first thought is disappointment. To me, it kind of wasn't. I've liked, my run of reading. I've been reading Extraordinary issue 1 through 20 at this point, so I read the whole deal, and to me, it was good. I don't really have any complaints. It didn't blow my mind, but don't have major complaints as well. I will say, now that it's over and I don't have time to read everything in the Marvel Universe, I'm ready to move on to. I'm not going to keep reading X-Men Gold. Like, I'm ready to move on to something different. So we'll have to figure out what that is going forward.
For sure.
Yep,
yeah. I mean, I thought it was good. I just thought the conclusion was kind of lame.
Sure.
I mean, why didn't they ask Medusa? They should have just asked her.
Yeah, Beast, right?
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah.
The whole first part of it, trying to prevent it, he had access to talk to her and just be like, hey.
Yeah, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess, though, Storm kind of, she hits him in the back at the beginning, and they lock him up.
Yeah, they did lock him up. But...
So, bad call there.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of, as far as they're heroes and stuff, it just didn't seem very realistic to me that they would just straight up attack all the Inhumans without trying to talk first. I mean, I get that Emma was behind that,
Right.
but it still just wasn't convincing enough to me that they would just hop behind her and be like, yeah, you're right. We shouldn't talk at all. Let's just go in and take them all hostage and attack them. Like,
Right. Throw them in limbo.
I just didn't. It just wasn't very convincing. It didn't seem like the X-Men to me. And then the conclusion was kind of lame when they did talk to her and they just dipped. So,
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
10-4. All right. Well,
So-
thanks for watching, everybody. We do this comic book club intermittently as we go around reading stuff. Let us know what you thought. Were you disappointed? Did you like it? Everybody talks trash about X-Men books nowadays. I'm a fan, to be honest. I think they're just fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks.
See ya.
See ya.